All right, folks, let's talk about human rights. They're the basic protections and freedoms we all deserve simply because we're human. But millions of people around the world don't have these basic rights. It's like they're playing life on ultra-hard mode while the rest of us are cruising on easy. Human rights protect us from the worst impulses of those in power. Without them, we'd be at the mercy of every tin pot dictator and megalomaniac CEO. Human rights are our shield against oppression and discrimination. They give us the freedom to live our lives the way we choose. Without them, we'd be living in a world where conformity is king. And let's be honest, that sounds about as fun as a root canal performed by a drunk dentist. So let's appreciate and fight for these rights. Now let's talk about basic needs. These are the things every human should have access to, no questions asked. First up, food. Yet millions of people go to bed hungry every night. Next, we have shelter. A roof over your head that doesn't leak and walls that keep out the cold. Clean water is another basic need. Water that won't give you dysentery if you drink it. Education is also on the list. Not having access to education is like trying to navigate the internet with a flip phone. And let's not forget healthcare. Getting sick shouldn't be a death sentence or a one-way ticket to bankruptcy. These basic needs aren't luxuries. They're the foundation of a life lived with dignity. Without them, people are trapped in a cycle of poverty and desperation. It's like trying to build a house without a foundation. You might manage to stack a few bricks, but the whole thing's going to come crashing down at the first strong wind. And yet millions of people around the world are expected to do just that every single day. So, let's work towards ensuring these basic needs for everyone, because everyone deserves a life of dignity. Now brace yourselves, because I'm about to hit you with some facts. About 690 million people go to bed hungry every night. About 2.2 billion people lack access to safely managed drinking water. 258 million children and youth were out of school in 2018. About half of the world's population lacks access to essential health services. These aren't just numbers. These are real people with hopes and dreams and families. And yet in a world where we can send billionaires to space for fun, we can't seem to figure out how to feed, educate, and care for our own species. It's like we're living in a particularly dark episode of Black Mirror, except it's real life and there's no off switch. Section 4, why support matters, making a difference. Now I know what you're thinking, these problems are huge. What can I possibly do? Well, change doesn't happen overnight. It's more like planting a tree. Supporting human rights efforts is like being part of a giant global game of Jenga. Each action, no matter how small, helps build a more stable structure. Maybe you can't solve world hunger single-handedly, but you can support organizations that are working towards that goal. And here's the thing, your support doesn't just help others. It helps you too. When you support human rights, you're helping to create a world that respects and protects everyone's dignity. And guess what? You're part of everyone. So in a way, you're investing in your own future. It sends a message that you give a damn. And trust me, that chorus needs all the voices it can get. Section 5, taking action, be the change. All right, it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. So how can you take action? First off, educate yourself. Read books, follow human rights organizations on social media, attend talks and workshops. The more you know, the more effectively you can help. Next, use your voice. Speak up when you see injustice, write to your representatives. Share information on social media. And don't worry if your voice shakes. What matters is that you're using it, but don't stop at talking. Put your money where your mouth is. Donate to reputable organizations working on human rights issues. Volunteer your time and skills. And remember, every little bit helps. You don't need to be Bill Gates to make a difference. Even small actions can have a big impact when enough people do them. So let's get out there and be the change we want to see in the world, because every action counts. Section 6, a world where everyone thrives. Imagine for a moment a world where everyone's basic needs are met. A world where no one goes to bed hungry, where everyone has a roof over their head and access to clean water. A world where education is a right, not a privilege, and where getting sick doesn't mean financial ruin. This world isn't just a pipe dream, it's possible. We have the resources, the technology, and the knowledge to make it happen. What we need is the will to prioritize human rights over profit, the will to see every human being as worthy of dignity and respect, the will to work together towards a common goal, even when it's hard. Because when we uplift the most vulnerable among us, we all benefit. When everyone has their basic needs met, we have a more stable, more prosperous, more peaceful world. So, let's work towards creating a world where everyone thrives. Because in the end, we're all in this together.